Hi, this is Graham Jeacocke. Now, this upload is an apology of sorts because maybe I didn't express myself as clearly as I should, and when it's an important topic such as racism, things can get out of hand. And when I uploaded a video about the English player who missed the goal, I wasn't saying that racial abuse doesn't exist or that racial abuse should not be listened to. I was trying to let the viewer know that you have to look at racism at its core. How is it? Why do people result to abuse? And I was asking a person to look at themselves. Now, after I uploaded the video, I was beginning a new book, and it was Resurrection by Rowan Williams, okay? And I came across a section that highlighted racial abuse, and I'm going to quote it. Now, I think it's a good idea that you read the whole book because I've learned quite a bit. But here is where I'm going to quote, okay? And to take a particularly painful example, it is quite often said by white liberals or radicals that there is no such thing as black racism. Apart from the fact that this is demonstrably untrue, even if black racism is in considerable part conditioned by white racism, the statement carries overtones of the idea that the victimized group is intrinsically incapable of the kind of violence from which it is suffering. And this, in fact, obscures the real atrocity of racial oppression. Racism is not evil because its victims are good. It is evil because its victims are human. They share a common humanity, complete with its failings as well as its beauties, with their oppressors. If I do not grasp this, I am not really open to the possibility of ordinary human relationship with a victimized group. I atone for my primal sin of oppression by according a superior instead of an inferior place to my victims, placing a moral scourge in their hands to beat me as once I beat them. And this is a travesty of the process of human reconciliation and restoration. My imagination is still trapped in the illusion that the basic and ultimate form of human relation is that between the powerful and the powerless. Even if this is translated into terms of moral superiority and inferiority, the structure remains the same, a master-slave relationship in which one partner is defined by the other. Now, I think those who are listening can see there's truth in that. Now, the point I want to raise is, or rather I want to lead on from that. But first I want to say, or rather I want to play act for a second, but with serious intentions. I want to take on the role of a prosecutor, someone who represents the country or the protection of the country when someone does something wrong, okay? I want to put Marcus on the stand. Now, it is known, okay, this is addressing Marcus, it is known that the mentality of football players can get into serious problems because of the sexual revolution that takes place in every generation, ironically. But it's intensified with the football culture. Now, I want to ask Marcus. Now, he's witnessed footballers when they're drunk or when they're not drunk. He's confronted people how they talk about women. Now, I want to ask Marcus, did you ever confront a man who said to a white woman or a black woman or any woman of colour, when a man said to that woman, bitch, you're a bitch? Now, where was the concern of footballers to highlight how women are oppressed? I mean, why is it that men do not want to really confront the truth? They're always trying to play the victim. You have to apply equality. Because as Rowan Williams points out, where is the pure victim? Now, why is it? No, first of all, I have to explain why I was using the word bitch. Because in the past, I used to work at the kennels with boxer dogs. Now, there was a very learned lady who worked with dogs, and she knew the history quite exceedingly well. But I asked her a question. I said, at what point in time did bitch become negative? Because bitch refers to a female, a specific kind of female dog. But society has turned the word around and used it in an oppressive sense, in a negative sense, just like we have words that put the coloured people, like the N-word. Where does Marcus and all his fellow football mates, where do they justify abusing women, yet in the same mouthpiece they cry they're victims of abuse? Further to this, I want to say that in the Judeo-Christian faith, we are made in the image of God, and this means we do not hurt people. So where do footballers justify their outrage at when they accuse someone of racial abuse? Where do they justify the value of a human if no God exists? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Bye for now.